What's happening, everyone? This is ONF, and today we're going to go through a video about altcoins, why I'm super bullish on them in the upcoming months and across 2024, and all the charts and database evidence that support this thesis. Now, before we start, let's get the formalities out of the way. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. The content here is purely just my thoughts and opinions on the markets. This content is also not intended for the residents of the UK, and as always, trade at your own risk. The main message of this video is just to show you guys how early you still are and that the major altcoin rally and bull market is still yet to come. So here we're looking at Ethereum on the weekly, and you can see just by looking at the last cycle, the pattern we printed. So we had the run up, then we had the sell off, and we had the bear market into this prolonged accumulation mode here. And you can see that this accumulation was clearly capped to the upside by this key weekly SR level. Then what happened is we broke out of that SR, retested that level, and then pumped what was 1,270%. Then you can see moving on to the current cycle, we have exactly the same pattern printed, guys, okay? So we have the sell-off here, then we move into accumulation. And then capping this accumulation to the upside is again this key weekly SR level here. Okay, guys. So what's happened is we've just breached that level. We've retested it in December, and now we're cleanly moving away from that level, guys. Okay, so you can see here, if I zoom out, the last cycle's fractal, and if we get the same move to the upside, 1,270%. You can see I keep needing to scroll out because of the sheer size of the move. But this is what that move would look like, guys, okay? So you can see here the power of just scaling out, zooming out, looking at the higher time frames and just getting the bigger picture here. So if we get a move to the same percentage degree as we did in the last cycle, then we're looking at 26K per Ethereum. Let's say you didn't want to go with this approach, and for you this is too far-fetched. You wanted to take a slightly more conservative approach. You know, even if you wanted to say that at a very conservative stretch, this is only going to reach half the degree that it did the last cycle, then we're looking at taking this to, say, 630, which is somewhere around here, guys, okay? So you can see that even if we take just half of what happened in the last cycle, we're still looking at a move to this degree, which would take Ethereum up to roughly 14K per ETH. So that's in brief the Ethereum higher time frame picture, guys. And before we proceed on to more charts, can I ask that if you're enjoying the content so far, that you please like, subscribe, and hit notifications for future content. And of course, all feedback appreciated. So leave your suggestions in the comments section below, and I'll be sure to listen and respond to all of your comments and integrate it into future content. Now, another similar but critical chart to touch on is the crypto market cap excluding BTC, aka Total 2. And essentially, guys, this is the combined market cap of all the altcoins. And you can see a very similar pattern printed in the last cycle. We have the move up, we have the move down, we move into this prolonged accumulation period here on the weekly, capped clearly by this weekly SR level. We break out, retest this level, and scorch to the upside. Then again, we top out, we come down, we move into this prolonged accumulation period, once again, capped by this weekly SR level. And as you can see, we broke out of this accumulatory range and we retested the level, and now we're moving strongly to the upside with an incredibly strong weekly close as of last night. Now, the reason I thought it would be particularly important to start the week off with a video today is the fact that we had this strong weekly close, okay? So essentially what you can see happened is we moved away from this retest here, which is essentially just a lower time frame range in itself, okay? So what we've had here is that breakout candle to confirm that, okay, we've moved out of this prolonged accumulation period, we broke out, we retested, and now we've broken out to the upside. If you don't have yourself allocated into the positions you want to be, now is the time to do so, guys, okay? We've had that retest, we've had the consolidation, we're now moving up and we're looking at that impulse to the upside. Now you can see again, I've printed on the same fractal as we had the last cycle. What's this? 1300%. So you can see just how silly this chart looks if we're looking at another move to the upside of the same scale, okay? Now, again, let's say we want to be more conservative and realistic with our expectations, by nature of maturing asset classes. Let's say we want to scale this down to 50% of the move. Then we're still looking at a move of this scale, guys, okay? And, numerically aside, you can see visually how much room this has to go, okay? You can see the pattern printing in the last cycle. You can see exactly the same chart dynamics that have occurred. And you can see that we've just and only just left this consolidation lower time frame range above the key weekly SR level. Now, again, I just wanted to do a zoomed out picture across a bunch of alts. And again, we're looking at the weekly charts. So here you can see I've got Aave, and you can really see just by zooming out that idea that some of you guys have got yourself gridlocked into, that you've missed the boat, you've missed the early entries, and as a result, now is not an opportune time to enter. You can see just how silly that is, okay, guys? I mean, just zoom out, look at the higher time frames, stop getting lost in the lower time frames, and you can see, we haven't had any move yet. Look at this. This hasn't even pumped at all. And I can literally just go down my list of alts and just do this to a bunch of others, okay? And you can see that, yes, of course, we have had some outliers that have moved. But generally speaking, if we run through this alt list, everything is still in this weekly range-bound environment. And, we really haven't seen anything yet, okay? And of course, there are outliers, okay? So you do have things like, let's click on Beam, for instance. Right, you have assets like Beam that have been moving very strongly to the upside. And essentially, these are moving because they are the brand new shiny coins in the market, okay, guys? Now, I was getting asked a lot at the beginning of this run and sort of into the end of the bear market, which are going to be the best performers of the next cycle. And my answer was simply that they're going to be the brand new shiny coins, okay? And there's an important note in here, guys, as well, okay? If that logic is correct and the best performers are simply going to be the new coins on the market, then by virtue of that, how can you be late, New coins are launching all the time. And all you have to do is do your due diligence, look into these markets, look into the fundamentals behind them, play the charts, and, basically just get exposure to these markets. So you can see here, I've obviously given you an example of Beam, something which has pumped. But, we can look at something like Mavia, for instance, down here. And Mavia was a coin that launched at the beginning of the month, and it's a promising P2E game within the GameFi narrative, a narrative which is clearly trending at the moment and will continue doing so throughout this cycle. And you can see, guys, okay, like you had plenty of time to position into these markets. And I'm not talking about just trading them, I'm talking about, spot positioning. And, it's easy, guys. All it takes is a bit of due diligence, just keeping your eye on the new releases. And I remember even tweeting about this, okay? So I put a tweet out about this just at the beginning, initial stages of price action, right? And quite simply, as a result of having done my due diligence, I accumulated a huge spot position around the $2 mark. And then, as this moved to the upside, I anticipated this was going to be a very clean chart to trade with organic price action. And you can see it did just exactly that, okay? So we had a nice low time frame breakout here. We can see 2 touch points, broke up, deviated back under, and then pushed to the upside. You could have taken a long position here. And then again, we get a super clean move here. We can mark an SR level there. We get a clean 15-minute candle close above. I actually ended up adding a little bit in this range as well. And as you can see, guys, we have a clear ascent to the upside, super clean. And I believe I took another long here. Whereby we took out this level here. We also took out this local lower time frame level here. And as you can see, as we did so, we had a super clean setup, candle bodies making a clear lower low, and then the oscillators, both the RSI and the awesome oscillators, making clear higher lows, locking in the divergence and giving us an extremely clean setup on a hot new shiny coin within the right narratives with strong fundamentals. So to wrap up, just think about it all, guys. Zoom out, look at the higher time frames. Don't focus on the markets that have moved already, okay? Look for new markets within the right narratives. Take spot positions, you know, allocate, take action. Inaction is the worst thing you can be doing right now, guys. And then, you know, if you find great markets, you can also trade them to the upside. Focus on your longs. And just remember, guys, you're still early. There's tons of opportunity in this market. Don't beat yourself up if you've taken the wrong approach so far, but you know, today you can change it. You know, even if you don't want to trade, that's fine. Just allocate in spot, sit on your positions and realize that all signs are pointing towards a mega crypto run this year. And that, you know, most likely you're going to be very rewarded for taking risk at this point in time. So that's it for today, guys. I hope the message was clear. And anyway, at least you gained an insight into how I'm approaching the markets these days. And yeah, touch in soon, guys. As always, please leave comments below on your thoughts on this video and what you'd like to see going forward. Thanks again. And as always, happy trading.